everybody, Tyler here. I just got back from Star Trek Into Darkness, so I thought I'd give you my thoughts about it. As you can see, Tim is obviously not here with me today. We couldn't work this out together with our schedules to do a review. So I'm doing this one solo, and I hope I can still be entertaining. It's a little sad not having a partner to bounce ideas off of, but I think I can manage. All by myself, don't wanna be all by. It was good. It was enjoyable and it kept me engaged, but it wasn't as good as I expected it to be. The movie starts out with, if you saw in the trailer, they're running on that red planet trying to escape from the natives. But all the aliens look almost like exact duplicates of the engineers from Prometheus, with that really weird white and the contours of their nose and the black eyes and everything. They look like a direct ripoff, and it leads to this whole debate about the Prime Directive. And basically the general tone of the movie is that Starfleet is becoming more militaristic and focused on expanding its reach and defense and offense of its goals instead of being about exploration and finding new worlds. So it's all about the conflict between Kirk is trying to follow that new rule, but then Spock is trying to be his moral conscience. It started off with a death of a major character in Kirk's life, and that's supposed to motivate him to go after Benedict Cumberbatch's character, the main villain, and the whole movie is about loss and sacrifice, and they're trying to... Kirk is basically, it's his maturation, his trial by fire. They're trying to make him into more of a... continuing with that dastardly rogue kind of character from the first movie, but then slowly mature him. So I guess they're kind of going for an Empire Strikes Back feel, but it just feels very forced in some parts. The way the plot follows, there's maybe, I don't know, one or two really surprising moments, but besides that, it was kind of by the books. Like, there are a couple plot sequences that I totally called 20 minutes before they even happened. So I was just expecting more from J.J. Abrams. He's known for his very intricate writing style. If you're a fan of Lost, you know how long he can stretch out plot elements and have little tidbits that have a great payoff later. This, it just was very, I don't know, you could anticipate what was going to happen, so it didn't really surprise me in any way. They're also trying to go for a more emotionally vested storyline. That was a big complaint that people had about the first Star Trek movie, that the characters were just constantly running around and there was a lot of good action, but you didn't feel like you knew the characters in a sense. And they definitely try to go that route for this movie. In the beginning of the movie, there is a side plot that leads into the reveal of John Harrison's character, and there is an actor in there who Doctor Who fans will love. You will really enjoy seeing him. He doesn't have a big part, but if you watch Doctor Who, you will know what I'm talking about. There's a chase sequence about 20 minutes into the movie that reminded me a lot of the Millennium Falcon's flight inside the second Death Star from Return of the Jedi. And there are a couple other scenes that really reminded me of just Star Wars in general, so I could see this movie as a second showing of what J.J. Abrams can do with the Star Wars universe. On the bridge, in a couple scenes, there's one of the technicians is this black lady who has like a shaved head, and she reminded me of the prostitute from Borat. Probably my favorite character of the main cast was Scotty. I feel like Scotty actually has the most development in this. Like, I know they try to have Kirk go through his moment of crisis and have the moral conflict, but Scotty's the one who recognizes how things are progressing and calls stuff as he sees it and makes big decisions that affect everyone and put him in the right. It's just really nice seeing a side character get that much attention. And Simon Pegg, who doesn't love Simon Pegg? Benedict Cumberbatch plays an amazing villain. He is so intimidating in this movie. He really bulked up too from his Sherlock role, if you know him from that. Like, he is muscular and just threatening. Has this dead eye expression the entire time, like he's so assured of everything that he's doing and he knows that he can defeat you. There's never a scene of doubt or consequence. He does show emotion, but it's always a very hard-edged, cold, calculating kind of presence that he has. I feel like with the plot, they were trying to sort of emulate maybe Dark Knight Rises and Iron Man 3 with the whole domestic terrorist kind of angle with the John Harrison character, and that he wants to destroy Starfleet, and his main, very effective reasons for doing so. It didn't have the same impact as those other movies because Starfleet and the entire Star Trek universe covers the entire planet of Earth, and instead of being localized to one country like America or a city like Gotham, it just felt so expansive that you didn't really have the emotional weight of his actions. Also, apparently in the future they still use swivel chairs. There's a scene where they get all of the captains and admirals together in this big board meeting, and everyone has furniture out of like IKEA. I'm just gonna get into spoilers now, so if you don't want to know anything about the movie going in, just stop watching here. John Harrison is Khan. The whole John Harrison name was just a facade that was set up because it's revealed that he was in cryosleep and revived by one of the admirals from Starfleet in an attempt to use his knowledge to prepare Starfleet because he wants to initiate a battle with the Klingon Empire. So he just is basically a warmonger and wants to exploit John Harrison as and his knowledge, because it's explained that John Harrison was like a genetically modified soldier or something, and he's just very savage and ruthless, and they use him to like develop weapons and advanced tech for the purpose of arming Starfleet for battle. I really like the way Abrams reimagined the character. It added new depths and elements, and like in the first movie, it takes elements from the old movies and TV show and incorporates them into the new work, but with a slightly different twist. Again, like Star Trek II, they have to send someone inside the core of the ship to repair the warp drive, and the radiation causes the character to die. And that character, instead of Spock, in this case, is Kirk, because Kirk has gone through his arc and learned that it is more important to sacrifice himself for the good of others than to be selfish and just disregard everything about Starfleet and the rules and chain of command and stuff. So it was really nice seeing the inversion of those two characters' roles for this movie. Having Kirk be brought back, I thought was kind of, I don't know, it kind of undercut everything about the movie. I think it would have been much more effective to have him actually die, and the third movie was the search for Kirk instead of the search for Spock like in the actual original Star Trek movies, and the rest of Star Trek Into Darkness was having Spock assume command of the Enterprise like we saw in the first movie, and him on a quest for vengeance for the last arc of the last third of the movie, trying to get back at Khan and to avenge his friend. And then you could have this entire arc about Spock at the beginning of the third movie struggling with the loss of his friend and trying to go, his Vulcan side with being logical and reasonable, and then his human side dealing with all these emotions and the fallout from the entire crew of having lost their captain in that noble sacrifice. The thing I was most disappointed about in this, no Tyler Perry cameo. He was the best part of the first movie. He was so in character and just a perfect addition to the cast. I don't know why they didn't bring him back for this. And with Tyler Perry, why can't we just bring in other actors and just put them in Star Command uniforms? Like Robin Williams, he would have been great, or John Malkovich. John Malkovich is a Starfleet commander. So Tyler Perry set the precedent. I want to see more random actors in Starfleet roles. Overall, it's an enjoyable movie. I'd have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I liked it, but I was just expecting a lot more depth and more intricate plot coming from Abrams, and it was just kind of hollow in some points, and it could have had a lot more emotional weight, or the emotional weight that it attempted to have should have been expanded upon. So I'd say it's, yeah, definitely go see it. I don't think it's as good as the first movie.